Hi, I'm Krusty Wonder. Title of this story is Am I the Astronaut for telling my sister-in-law she's not as selfless of a mom as my wife? That doesn't sound like a smart thing to say. 41 male, husband and dad to 2 little girls. 10 female and 5 female. Our daughters are half-sisters. They have the same bio mom, and we adopted them a little over 4 years ago. We love our girls so much. Alyssa is an amazing mommy to them. Since our youngest was a baby when we adopted her, she's pretty well adjusted. Our oldest was 6 when we adopted her, and she had significant trauma. When we first adopted her, she didn't bond with either of us and had emotional issues. It's been a long journey, but she's doing much better now, and it's been beautiful watching her grow into a happier and more secure child. She adores Alyssa, and I think it's in large part because my wife is patient, supports her, and loves her unconditionally. My wife Alyssa and I always wanted kids, but when we started trying in our 30s, she wasn't getting pregnant. We found out that there were a lot of other issues on her end that were making it hard for us to conceive. Alyssa was devastated at the time, but I took it a lot easier since I knew there were other options, i.e. adoption. When we started the adoption process, everyone was supportive except for my brother, Pat, 38 male, and his wife, Taylor, 38 female. Once they both sat me down and told me that it wasn't fair that I wouldn't get bio kids because of Alyssa. They encouraged me to find a surrogate mother rather than go down the adoption route. I think it's a great option for some people, but having bio kids didn't appeal to me at all unless it was with Alyssa. I was just as happy to adopt. And I told Pat and Taylor this numerous times. Alyssa and I currently live about 8 hours driving distance from my family. We drove to my hometown yesterday afternoon to celebrate my dad's birthday. At the time, we thought we'd make a weekend trip of it. Last night, after all the kids were asleep, my wife, Pat, Taylor, and I were sitting by the fire and having some wine. Alyssa was talking about how hard of a time she's having with our youngest daughter starting kindergarten this year. Alyssa was saying how our youngest is her baby and she's growing up so fast. Out of the blue, Taylor asked if Alyssa thought of our older daughter as her baby as well, since she came into our family when she was older and we missed some of her formative years. Alyssa said, of course she did. Taylor then said that Alyssa is a great mom and she feels bad that she never got to experience pregnancy and childbirth. Alyssa said she was sad about that before, but now that she has our girls, she's happy things worked out the way they did because she wouldn't trade either of them for the world. Taylor proceeded to say that the love Alyssa has for our kids is different because she never experienced the bond that comes with carrying a child, giving birth, and knowing that you and your partner created it. Taylor then said the bond you have with your bio kids is hard to explain if you haven't experienced it yourself. She then started talking about how pregnancy is a selfless thing because you're giving your body to another human being and sacrificing so much to bring it into the world. Why is this bizzo like just salt? Why? Alyssa kept her cool, but I was fuming. I said that all families are different, and it's incredibly shallow to imply that Alyssa is less of a mother because we adopted our girls. I also said that in my opinion, Alyssa is the most selfless person I know. I said that Alyssa took in 2 little girls, the oldest of whom has significant trauma and has completely devoted her life to giving them the best childhoods possible. I also said that unlike Taylor and Pat, Alyssa doesn't need to know that her kids share the same DNA as her to love them unconditionally. I then proceeded to tell my sister-in-law that I'm sorry she's not capable of that kind of love because based on her comments, it seems as though she wouldn't be able to mother a child who wasn't her own biologically. Ooh, hubby. Oh, hubby. Dang. Taylor started crying, and Alyssa said that all families are different, and we all love our kids. And I said that Taylor was the one who started the comparison game. We all went to bed, and Taylor left the fire very upset. This morning, my mom pulled me to the side and said Taylor told her I basically said she wasn't as good of a mother as Alyssa. Of course she did. Of course, that was her takeaway from the whole thing. I explained the things Taylor said before I made those comments, and my mom agreed that they were completely awful. My mom did say I shouldn't have said that Taylor was less of a mom than Alyssa because both of them love their kids. I said that I was sticking up for my wife, and that if Taylor is going to make comments about Alyssa's experience with motherhood, I'm going to throw it back at her. My mom thinks I owe Taylor an apology, but I'm not sorry in the slightest. Alyssa told me that Taylor's comments don't bother her because she knows the bond she has with our kids, and she'd be okay with my apologizing to keep the peace with my brother and sister-in-law. I really don't want to apologize, though, and honestly, am thinking of leaving tonight. Am I the astronaut? Would you apologize? Let's hear from the sweet and spicy.
No.
Candy Thunder. No, you wouldn't apologize?
No. I don't. Why do you need these people in your life? They don't consider your kids your kids. They think that your sister-in-law thinks that the measure of a mom is dependent on the fact if her uterus can carry a baby or not. Like, what? No, that is not. I'm going to say this again. Women's worth is not measured by the fact that they can carry a baby. That is not what makes us people. That's something that we can do or not do. It doesn't matter. But you don't get to tell someone they're less of a mother because they didn't carry their child. They didn't birth their child. There are so many ways that parents can become parents. Like, what are you going to say to a relationship with two women or a relationship with two men that chose to bring children and love them? Like, we just read a story about parents who had a baby biologically, like their child.
And they were terrible.
And they were terrible parents. And they acted like she was just some kind of practice run. But yet they're a better mother because they, it's their egg and his sperm, and that's what makes it. No.
This is also the kind of small-minded person that could never be in a blended family, right? Because
oh God, no, she would never. She would make it be known that her bio kids are what is the most important.
yeah, and
No.
but not even like not the most. It wouldn't be like a tiered level of importance. It would be like you matter, you don't.
Oh, for sure. Like there's, Angel. What? Women are not human incubators? I had no idea. Thank you. They, I don't even.
Like
I
there's
don't know.
there's a way where when they were having the conversation at the fire pit, I at first thought, oh, like they're just having an open conversation about like the emotions that she would have processed and like, do you regret not doing that? Genuinely getting to have like an insightful conversation with somebody you respect and can have an in-depth communication with. To say that, that would be, there's a thoughtful and thought-provoking way that can dive into the emotions that she experiences around that topic. But that's not what they were going for. They were goading her. They were just trying to pour salt in the wound. Of course they wanted to have kids. They tried.
So, right? And
They tried to have kids.
That's the saltiest
They
part of all of
couldn't.
this. But also, like, what happened to them, in my opinion, happened for a reason. I mean, look at how like she's so resolute in that fact that she is their mother. That those are her kids, and she's like, I don't care if you apologize. Apologize to keep the peace because this does not bother me. This does not take away from the fact that I am their mother. I know that in my heart. Like she's very well aware of the fact that those are her children. She is their mom, and that is the end of the story. What this woman is telling her, first of all, like, I cannot wrap my brain around someone who thinks that adoption is not okay. That thinks that the kids that are all out there, like that they are not worthy of being adopted because they're not biologically related to the people that are adopting them, and they would never be their real parents. Like, real parents are not defined by blood. Real parents are defined by how they treat their children.
Absolutely.
And this woman does not understand that, and I just feel sorry for her that she is so narrow-minded. And to what you were saying, it's like having those thought-provoking conversations. When you want to have that conversation with someone, you have that conversation to hear their truth.
Yes.
This woman had this conversation to say her truth, to say what she believes, not in a way to understand anyone else's life other than what she believes to be the truth. And if you don't speak to people if you can't come to them like understanding what they're trying to tell you. Like, don't open your mouth. Just shut the up.
Yeah.
Because if you can't accept somebody else's life as a different way to live, don't have conversations with them. Just go find somebody else that only thinks biological children matter and go have your conversations with them. Because you are not worthy of even being in this woman's presence, in my opinion. Like, and also, how is she treating those kids?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How is she treating those kids if
she doesn't view them as
think-
family?
No. And this is why I think it is so important for women to have something outside of being a mom. Like, have something that defines who you are as a person so that you can raise your kids to have that as well. Outside of being a parent, have something else that defined you. I'm sorry, but whether or not you have a uterus does not define whether or not you're going to be a good parent. Whether or not you have a working uterus does not define whether or not you're going to be a good parent. Like, we see it, everybody in chat, I'm sure you've seen it in your life. You've seen kids being treated like shit by their biological parents. None of that, it does not matter. It matters how you treat your children.
So OP, NTA, like, good on you for standing up for your wife. And I think the spice that you added to this in the delivery as you were slinging that pile of shit back her direction was every bit warranted.
Yes.
You could have gone harder and still been okay. there's an angle here that maybe they won't understand because they're small-minded and they're choosing not to understand.
Right.
But when they say there's this love and connection that you can't understand unless you've been through it, before, I think I would just mirror that back and say, look, there's a love and connection with our adopted children that you could never understand because you've never been through it. Yeah, you have your world and your reality. And why are you comparing that to ours and trying to position it as better? Why do you need to do that? Why do you need to compare?
Right.
And someone said earlier that if you're truly happy, you don't need to compare. You don't need to knock anybody
There you
down.
go. Hurt people. And that's what she did. But also...
And maybe she's struggling with feeling like, maybe at the root of this, she's struggling with feeling like she's just a mom and nothing more. So she's trying to bolster that up, like being a bio mom is better. So maybe that's okay that I'm just a mom because I'm a bio mom, right? So I can shit on this and try to make myself feel better. But she hasn't identified what she's actually feeling here. But I don't know.
I don't think she's capable of communicating her feelings. I didn't birth my dogs, but I love them like they're my children. So I'm just saying.
I don't know that the dogs are aware that you didn't birth them.
No, they're not. They were adopted. I think my dogs are better people than this woman. And that's just my
for sure.
professional, non-professional opinion.
And Luna has shit on the carpet 3 times in the past month. She's still a better person than this woman.
Yeah, the food change is officially canceled.
And 85-pound golden doodles don't make little shits, just in case you're wondering. Like I'm cleaning up a elephant pen.
Imagine thinking that you can only love someone who's biologically related to you. Like thinking that that's like that's all you, or someone that you're legally married to. Like you can't, like you can have as much love in your heart as you want to have. And you can open it up to people that deserve it. But you, Taylor, do not deserve it.
I think
you deserve. Did you already do it?
Go ahead. No.
You deserve
this is for you, Taylor. And you know what? I think this goes for your hubby as well, because he's right there allowing all this shit to happen.
Yep.
He's right there with her.
Also, you don't deserve the name Taylor. I'm just gonna say that.
They both confronted OP's hubby and tried to convince him to have a baby with someone else, or to use a surrogate behind OP's back because they felt like he needed a biological child. Yeah, that's messed up. Trying to force their beliefs onto other people. That will make you an asshole.
Right.
Yep. Faux show.